Yes, good afternoon, good people. Once again, welcome to 24-bit. And today we have very interesting people on set, right?
One person.
Actually, one person.
What person?
Who are you?
Maybe the always what?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
just who are you?
Introduce yourself.
I'm Dickson Otieno.
Yeah.
Yeah, I run a blog. Imeandikwa hapo chini. Yeah.
Techie. What's the name?
Techish. Nilikuwa, it was second year I think, and I wanted to write a lot about tech but not very tech, so tech-ish. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa idea yangu.
Sounds like a successful clothing line.
It's okay. Sasa tuanzishe MKBD t-shirts, techish t-shirts.
Okay.
Are you gonna give us for free, right? Yes, and the usual suspects.
Chenze Emmanuel, androidkenya.com.
Oh, techish.
Kaluka and Nick, tekarina.co.ke.
Yes, and I'm Nick Kanali at techtransky.co.ke. So today, guys, I want to talk about cab hailing apps in Kenya. I mean, we've used this before, moving around Nairobi. I mean, since Uber came, we had other apps coming up. So, I mean, I first want us to talk about, to really understand what the cab hailing market is like in Kenya right now. I mean, how would you describe it right now?
Congested.
Congested?
Yeah, I feel like it's congested. There are a lot of cab, there are a lot of different cabs, but not necessarily cab hailing apps, but a lot of cabs. Kila siku you see a different company name on a cab.
Chenze?
I think it's interesting because there's more choice. I always be like Dickson says congested. If you ask me, it's not, because as far as the quality of service goes, you might isolate quite a number of players and you remain with a few. So the number of choices that we have as riders or users of these apps are good to have. And if you ask me, there's room for more, because right now things are not as perfect as we want them to be. Because as a rider, my only problem is getting from point A to point B. I just need someone who solves that. I don't need many stories, and I'm willing to pay for that, period. So there's still room for more. Yeah.
For me, I'm like Dickson, it's flooded. You have so many players. Most of them are doing exactly the same thing, so
With no better solution.
no better solution. So we have so many of them doing the same thing. What's the point of all of them being around? So yeah.
But even as much as we say it's congested, as Chenze said, there's choice, right? I mean, we still have big players in the market, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the big players right now in the taxi industry right now.
Maybe before we talk about the big players, can you just list all the players that we are able to list?
Yeah.
Like I saw some player training yesterday and I can't even remember the name.
Shaka.
Yeah,
Shaka.
Sharecab. I tried using Sharecab.
Yeah.
Then there was a problem because I was hailing for a taxi and it kept saying looking for taxis. 5 minutes later, looking for taxis. And I even shared it on Twitter and they were like, there were no taxis around your area. So I was wondering, I was in CBD, why weren't there taxis around that area? So
it never worked for me. Actually, when they were launching is when I went to download the app and I couldn't get in past the sign-in page.
When did they launch?
I've never tried it ever since a while back.
Did they contact people when they were launching? Because I just found them on Play Store.
No, I think I saw the bars online and I went to check them out. I couldn't sign in and that was the last time I talked to them. I just know they exist. Yeah.
Then there's
Uber,
obviously.
Little,
Mondo.
there is Mondo, yeah.
Taxify.
There's Taxify.
Yeah.
There is something with color blue logo, I don't remember.
Paying cabs also.
Maramoja.
Yes.
There's Maramoja.
Yes.
Is Maramoja still around?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I hope they are. I've seen a billboard in Hurlingham. Yeah, Maramoja. It's Mondo. Yeah, it's Mondo.
It's Mondo which has billboards all over. And the Mondo one is right at the chicken place. Yeah, the Total Hurlingham.
There's another one. Just launched when I was in Kisumu. I remember their launch. I don't remember their name.
But even like out of this, we have those are already in the market right now. Like I know there's Uber, or guys are really complaining so much. There's Taxify, which again people are still complaining. There's these other new ones coming up, like Mondo, which actually are really trying. So let's talk about now the players, the big players.
The big players in the market: Uber, Taxify, and Little. I would say.
Why not Mondo?
I've never used Mondo. It's not big for me. I've never even downloaded their app. I don't have an account with them. So.
So what do you think? Why do you think they're big? Is it because they launched early?
Personally, Uber, because it's global. Yeah.
And aggressive. They're aggressive.
A little because it's backed by Safaricom. Taxify because everybody on Twitter says it's cheap. I never use this.
Is it really?
I don't know.
I don't think it's cheap. I paid almost 1,500 from Embakasi to Westlands the other day.
You have money. 1,500. Wow.
Should pay the striking lecturers. Actually,
I think they're big because they have money to spend to sensitize the population that we are here. So
Taxify is owned by a Kenyan farm or it's
no, Taxify is global. It's Taxify in SA. Actually, they've been protests. It's Yabonga. The young guy was killed in South Africa by traditional taxi guys. Yeah. Because now they've transferred their anger from attacking Uber drivers, they're now attacking Taxify drivers because Taxify is also very popular apparently in South Africa, just like it's taken root here. Yeah. Because in most instances, like in Nairobi, Taxify has risen up to become like the main alternative to Uber. Because Uber has had the name recognition, brand recognition, because of going to market fast and having been the first to get here and being known all over the world. But because of teething issues, now users are being forced to find alternatives. And also a lot of the drivers that own Uber have migrated. So now Taxify is like, you can say, the new Uber. Yeah.
But Taxify, Uber, yes, they're big. But what do you think people, like, if I move from Uber, of course I go to Taxify, why you have people not moving to apps like Mondo? Is it that Mondo not doing enough marketing? There's no visibility, enough visibility for them?
I moved from Uber to Mondo.
Yeah, I use Mondo.
You moved to Mondo?
Yeah, I use Mondo.
Oh, you all use Mondo? I've never used Mondo.
This is a Mondo church choir. I use Mondo.
How is the app? Let me download the app.
The reason I had so many issues with Uber because I'd get irregular transactions on my card. So I'd be billed irregularly, and then the process to just get the money back is hectic, and it's not worth the hassle. And then the other bit is their support is the crappiest you can ever encounter online. Uber is not the first global service I'm using. I use Office, and at times there are issues with my billing, and Microsoft guys are very professional and very good handling my issues. I usually have issues with Google when I buy stuff from Play Store and all that. It's handled well. Uber was the first time that I ran into issues and realized it's not all rosy online. And as a result, I just decided that relationship needs to end. I had a terrible experience with Little the year before, so I didn't consider it that much, even though I know it's gotten better ever since. But after Uber, I went to Taxify temporarily, and I still do use Taxify from time to time depending on the need. But I use Mondo primarily today because most times I just want to get from point A to point B, but there's a lot of traffic. Mondo has bikes. And the rates there are good for the bikes. So
actually, used the bike yesterday coming for the meeting to Westlands.
So I prefer the bikes. And even another use case I found for the bikes is I'll just call a rider, give them a parcel, and they deliver it to point B. It's much cheaper than using dedicated services that do the same thing. Then with the way bikers in Nairobi are very unruly. Actually, before Mondo came, I'd never ridden in a bike in Nairobi where I pay out of my own pocket directly like that, because one, the fear, security issues, two, safety. Safety in terms of you're on the road, these guys are unruly.
You don't have a helmet.
You don't have a helmet, there are no reflector jackets and all that. Now when you come to the Mondo side, there's some sort of discipline. You will find that the guy who comes to pick you has 2 helmets, has a reflector jacket, so you are not guaranteed that you will sleep somewhere in a police cell or you will pay a hefty fine because of something that was not out for you. And then also, which is more important to me, the prices are good. And Mondo has these offers from time to time where from anywhere to CBD, anything below 300 is free, so you can always cash in. we can argue about the
Sponsor
dynamic.
money.
No. We can always argue about the dynamics whereby the drivers complain or they have issues. But so far so good. The services work for me. I had issues with the app initially. They've been sorted as we go along. And the biggest factor is they have a call center.
Yeah.
Now every other time I have issues,
That's a good.
there's someone who knows Nairobi probably more than I do, and who can solve those issues. Can talk to the driver in a language I understand. And when you're somewhere in the middle of the night, you can actually just call the call center and they'll schedule a ride. You to schedule a ride or come pick you immediately, and it works. I find that really nice, because that's why I was using it even when the app was crap. Because I could just bypass it and call. Yeah, that is a service. Last time we were talking about e-commerce, we said we'll something I like.
Mondo sounds good.
No, probably
for
overselling
Mondo,
it, but
there was a time I was in Karen, and I was requesting, I wanted a motorbike, and there was none in my area, so I used the app. There wasn't any in my area.
And then they called you
so
later.
they called me directly and told me, "Can you wait? We send someone to pick you
Where you are.
Interesting.
yeah.
I think that's
They usually do that. You see, when you come and do a search and you don't find a cab or a bike, they can actually see on their end, and they'll call you immediately after.
immediately.
Yeah, and try to help. Like
For me, I think that's the service we need.
When you're looking for Uber chap and
Yeah.
it's not in your area, nobody cares.
You see? So and that's why for me, I moved from Uber to Little, mainly because the Uber drivers are not so happy with their services. So every time you get into an Uber, you start a conversation, someone starts complaining about, I don't know what this and that. So I thought, this service is not good, let me move to a better service and see if it works for me. And by that time, I didn't know they had the motorbike thing. So when I found it, then it was like, it's a good service. So, and I've been using it ever since. So I use Uber, I use Mondo and Little. Sometimes I use Little.
I've only used Little once.
I've never used Taxify because the first time I tried creating an account,
the SMS did not
the
come.
SMS didn't come.
and Nokia was not there.
I'm not bothering myself with this.
I mean, plus for Taxify, I'm not sure if you guys have read this online. People are complaining so much about you being kidnapped, being.
You see, I've seen those threads, but it's the same. You know why we're having to deal with these issues? Taxify as an app, because I remember signing up way early. I think start of last year is when I signed up for Taxify. The app was good, and I was coming from an Uber user. The reason why I didn't like Little at first is I was used to Uber, then I came to Little, and version 1 of Little was so bad. So the experience was not desirable. Like you would open the app, you wouldn't want to go back again. But that wasn't the experience coming from Uber to Taxify. Taxify was everything I was used to on Uber, maybe even better. And then they would have these occasional discounts, and I found them to be interesting. And then the number one feature that sold Taxify to me was there's an option. The email they send you for billing immediately after has an option to print an invoice. That is very important to me when I'm taking a trip that is supposed to be paid for by someone else. Uber doesn't, so you have to do this very cumbersome way of forwarding emails. So if I'm working for an organization, I probably have an official email with that organization now, but my Uber is registered with my personal Gmail, so I have to forward all that. It's a chain, and it's tedious, and even when you print it looks like a mess. Taxify gives you an option to print an invoice, which I can properly bill if it's a client, or if it's my employer, or if it's anyone else, and then they can sort me out. I found that to be interesting. But the reason why it's not working for a number of people, and you can see complaints online, is because we are trying to fix ourselves using technology. This is people-driven technology, not the other way around. There are riders and there are drivers involved. These were the same people who were bringing issues on Uber. They came in droves to this tax-free platform. So they're the same people who have a toxic culture. So if someone is a goon, is a thug, the app won't change that. So as the problem is, just like with e-commerce platforms we were discussing the other day, users tend to identify with where they've gotten the service. So I've received this bad service using Taxify, so I'll blame Taxify. Of course, they have their fair share of blame. People have done background checks, verifications, and all that. But really, as a people, you need to get better. Period. You can't be there being a terrible person, and then your clients definitely will complain because these apps facilitate. There's a need, I need a cab, and then there's the other need, I'm a cab driver, I need to make money, so we are just being linked on that platform. But that doesn't make me a nicer person and doesn't make you a good person. So if you're horrible creatures,
it's still horrible, even with the app.
Also, one of the reasons that actually I ditched Uber was like, you know, when they give you free rides, those codes, when you're about to pay, it's not working.
Happened to me. Happened to me, and I paid 500 shillings. I remember going back to complain to the person who invited me to the event. Yeah, because one, I will have, I am a matatu person, so I'll structure my schedule well so that it fits within matatu schedules. So if there's jam, I'll be 2 hours early, so that to take advantage of that. But when unakuja, you tell me, Chenze, come to this event, and we are giving you a voucher. So I take the voucher. I didn't plan to spend 500 shillings on fare, and then I end up spending it because the promo code doesn't work.
I mean,
it's annoying.
Would have paid 50 bob.
You know, like actually, in my case, I would have paid 30 bob that week.
And what do you think about Uber Chap Chap? Like the new segment they're calling Uber Chap Chap?
For me, I don't really understand Uber Chap Chap.
What I know about it is that it's cheaper and it only operates around Westlands CBD.
Westlands CBD.
Westlands Hurlingham CBD. Just across, just a stone throw.
They don't go to the airport.
CBD. They don't go very far.
I don't know. Me, I've
What
just
I know
seen.
is they're cheaper.
I just woke up one morning and started seeing the small white cars.
So what's different?
And the funny
from that?
thing is, they're all KBP Suzuki's.
Suzuki's. Yeah.
So I don't know if Uber gives them to the drivers or the
I think
drivers buy
it's
them.
a loan. Someone was telling me
owns them. Something.
they negotiated a loan somehow. So you can get the.
Because I was looking at
loan.
the profiles of the drivers, I took an Uber Chap Chap, and the profile of the driver was driven with Uber for 3 years.
Stock alert.
No, you check your driver's profile at night mostly because you don't know. You might end up with somebody's. There was a time I had a very bad experience with an Uber Chap Chap. The guy was literally speeding very fast, and you tell him, "Nini mbaya," like, no, I have to pick another client. So you're like,
wow. So why did you take mine then?
So they're not making enough money.
I don't know if they're making enough money. What I'm wondering is, how is that Uber Chap Chap segment making it better? How is it making the service better?
Because
for example, is it
complaints.
making the drivers of Uber X lose customers or something? I don't
And what
understand.
happened to Select? Still exists.
Select is still on the app, it's still very expensive.
I think they are pushing to attract people who are not using the app. Maybe.
So are they going
But
to
they-
focus on being Uber Chap Chap?
But the whole idea of Chap Chap is you get an Uber in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah. And
So
it's
they're
cheap.
supposed to be everywhere and it's supposed to be cheap.
So how does it work better than Uber X? Because it's a very uncomfortable car mostly. You get
So it's convenient for shorter distances.
shorter distances, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just asking in the big. This one is cheap. This one is not very cheap. This
So
one
it's
is very expensive. So you as a customer, you'll always pick the cheap version because it's taking you. Mostly you'll pick I'm sure right now if you look at their statistics, most people are using Uber Chap Chap because I'm sure you've seen a lot of Uber Chap Chaps for traffic jam. So how does it convert into cash for Uber in Kenya to have another offering that most countries don't have?
Because Uber is still making money. Maybe the drivers are not making money. The drivers on Uber X probably are not making as much as they are making. But Uber is still making money.
Sipping their own cash.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
No, I mean, let's talk about the pricing for all these apps. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, who takes the crown for the pricing right now?
For pricing, I don't know.
But actually, this is a very important question because in my case, I've actually never considered the pricing to be a big deal when choosing between them. The reason why I take cabs today is because these apps exist and generally these apps are cheaper than the traditional taxis used to be. So that's what's there and it's the assumption I usually use. But I wouldn't tell you today I used Little because it's cheaper. No. Or today I used Mondo. I usually switch these apps depending on convenience or on a given day if one of them has deals. Yeah, like I have Taxify installed, but I'll only use it when they have when a Nokia sends that email. They have a deal this weekend. Is when I'll use it. But normally for me it's just the convenience. I wouldn't touch Uber even with a long pole. Locally, because of the terrible experiences I've had personally. But if it works for someone else, I think they'd use it. But probably Uber has the lowest rates. Because last time I checked, I think their base fare was what, 300 bob?
300.
But little chap is?
I don't know, because I've ever had a trip on
No. There's base fare and there's minimum fare. The base fare is very small. It starts from 100 bob. Some even have 75, I think. All of them. But that is just base. That's not necessarily what you'll pay. There's a minimum fare which you'll pay. I think the minimum fare is the one which starts at 200 for most apps. Goes all the way to 300. So it does vary. I'm not so sure of the real figures, but I just checked here.
Do you like the way Chenze said, he does not pick between a cab hailing app because of pricing and angalia convenience. Does that work for you? For me personally, I'll just use Uber because I know I've used Uber before. It works.
You never had a bad experience with them?
I've had that one bad experience for overspeeding, but I've never had like a bad experience. I will call for an Uber and it will come and it will drop me here.
Actually, coming to think of it, other than me having issues with the app, one, irregular billing on my card, and two, promo code is not working. Actually, I can't remember ever having just an issue with a particular driver.
No.
But I've never had an issue.
The closest I've come is someone accepted my ride. So it was showing I was on my ride, but I wasn't. And then they actually went all the way up, and then it was the mistake of the driver, so he assumed another client was me. So he went and picked another guy and dropped the guy thinking it's me. And then me, I'm on the phone like every 2 minutes. Why I'm seeing you're moving? I'm seeing I'm on the ride and I'm not. Then when he eventually came and picked me, is when he realized his mistake. And then,
but your card was still billed.
Yeah, my card was billed, but we found a local solution, so I never even reported the driver. It was good. We handled the situation professionally, and I was sorted. So I've never had like a not and out bad experience, but I've just had Kenyans being Kenyans, like people out to steal your money deliberately. And then I think they're used to dealing with elderly people who don't bother to look at the app. And this is particularly with Mondo drivers. You hail a Mondo, inakuja. But the moment an accept ride and a start ride. And probably the guy is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes away. And a start ride. And then say kwa jam anangoja anakuja. So you also get billed for that. I've reported a number and I think Mondo has been good because the way Mondo recommends cabs to you is such that I think the ones with the highest ratings are the ones who get to you. I don't know how exactly they do it, but I never have a similar experience with a driver twice or more than that, even though I've had repeat drivers. But that's the closer, and it's a terrible thing. If taxi hailing apps can get their act together, pay their drivers well, or find out whatever it works. I just want to move from point A to point B at a good price. So find out how your guys are happy, because if they're not happy, you also want to be happy as a customer. It has to make sense for both of us. Those guys are earning a living, others are servicing car loans and all. But also, really, when I'm taking an Uber or a taxi or a Mondo, that's the least of my concerns. I just want to get to my destination. So it needs to work for me at that point. But you find someone taking shortcuts and it's so bad. Because you end up paying maybe 100 or 150 for a ride you never took. Another one will you get to the destination and they don't end the ride. I usually stay around until you actually end the trip and I see. Because most if you are going to pay via card, you just alight and go because you wait for 10 minutes, the email has not come because the guy is still on trip. If you're paying cash, they'll have to end so that you can pay. But if it's card, they take shortcuts and that's a people problem. You can't fix that with technology. The drivers need to be better.
Use M-Pesa.
No, actually, like
use M-Pesa and then pay transaction fee. There's
Use
that
cash.
But I'm those who don't have change. So give me 1,000 bob. Like I don't
They never have change.
Then
They never have
I'll send you credit.
And those who cancel, those who cancel because they've seen you are using a card.
The people who do that.
So many of them.
I never used a card.
Because you see, I think with a card, Uber takes time to pay them, so sort of like
It's inconvenient
to them. And when you're looking at something like, if other services like Little, I think their payment period is shorter compared to Uber. So if for Uber, I think is it 2 weeks or I don't know how long it takes, but it takes time for you to get the money. And if you are a driver, you need the money to fuel your car, and you need money to stay alive. So
maybe Kenyans need to start trying out these new.
We all need money to stay alive.
Maybe Kenyans need to start using these new other services apart from just the Uber and these common ones.
But you see, it's about trust also, and also about the entire. If you start your new service today, how many drivers do you have?
Yeah.
So I can't use a service
where you wait for half an hour.
I'm waiting for half an hour for a cab, and I can get one easily with another service.
I think most companies, not necessarily just cab hailing apps, most companies fail because they fail to satisfy a customer to the extent that yes, I don't care about pricing. I just know that nikitumia this, I'll be convenient. The same way you'll just walk into, I don't know if this is a good example, but you'll better walk into a Nakumatt store because you always felt like hapa nitapata what I need.
Okay.
Always,
These days was a pattern.
not these days, but kitambo. You'll always feel like this is better to walk here because you get an experience, you get value for what But you find that, for example, I've never used Mondo, but it has never even occurred to my mind until today that I could download the app. I've seen it on billboards, but they have not pushed it in a way that I resonate with. Same for Taxify. Since SMS ikatai kurudi, I never bothered with it. Share cab, you look for a cab around you, never appears. You never bother with it. So you go back to Uber because Uber works. I pay with cash, never had trouble except for speeding drivers. That's all.
Speeding kills. There is one more thing. There are taxi hailing apps. Period. As much as their platforms, the services they have, it starts with the app on your phone. So the apps need to work. I was disappointed. I logged into my Taxify last weekend because I finally emailed and said this is an offer. So I logged into my Taxify last weekend for the first time in a long time. I found out it couldn't remember my ride history. So it couldn't show me my past rides. Uber always remembers those. I've not used Uber in forever, but it still remembers
your previous rides.
Yes. And it's just fine. I like being able to go back to my services and see the history and all that. So they need to do better with those. And two, while we are still on this app business, integrate M-Pesa everywhere.
Little has
Little has M-Pesa. You would expect that from me.
But you see,
but Mondo doesn't have M-Pesa, so I usually have to go into local arrangements. And for me, I've been lucky to get good drivers. So I'll pay the exact amount, or sometimes when it's rained on my side, I can add the transaction fee. I've never had issues.
They request for transaction fee.
Some of them. I've seen complaints on Twitter that some do request kutoa. So far I've never had an issue.
How many times do you withdraw cash nowadays?
Or maybe just the paybill number.
Paybill means a transaction fee. Just find something that works. There's M-Pesa Express. It's not really my problem as a customer. You should figure out that M-Pesa is popular in this market, and it's a payment option that should be there. You can't be processing payments online and you have no M-Pesa as an option. I find it unacceptable. I don't know what excuses they have, but as a customer I find it unacceptable. You can't be having an option for a card. We don't resonate with cards in this market. And you don't have M-Pesa. I'm saying M-Pesa because basically what other mobile money platform do you use?
And you see, the funny thing about Little and M-Pesa, I don't think they have sensitized their drivers on how it works. So because the last time I used it, when you are paying, the money goes to Little, doesn't go to the driver. So the driver is waiting for the SMS. And we are sitting there, I'm asking him, is it come yet? He's saying no, and on my end,
You've already paid.
I've already paid. So I'm expecting him to see it on his
see,
end.
yeah.
Kumbe it goes to late.
It's these drivers who switch. You know, all the drivers have all these apps we've discussed.
Yeah.
So a lot of them, since they come from these other apps that don't have M-Pesa, that's how they expect it to work. What I like about Little and M-Pesa integration is there's M-Pesa Express. So usually when the driver ends the ride, you get a pop-up. So you just key in your password
and it's done.
Your PIN and it's done. You don't need to remember a number.
And you pay the exact amount.
And it's the exact amount. So
you see the way Uber and Waymo and other companies are investing a lot of money into self-driving cars, so that you'll be hailing a taxi and it comes, drops you off. It's efficient, self-driving, and everything is really fast. So even if you look at into like traffic jams in Kenya and all that, they could be solved by a better, more efficient way of transport. If government maybe will get into transport, Uber chopper, no. If government will get into transport, or if it could be people could be taught to share.
So basically we need
that.
an Uber pool concept. No, what we essentially are saying is we should have gotten a public transport system long time ago. Wouldn't be in such a mess, because like the past week I've been paying inflated matatu fares because it's raining in Nairobi. And two, normally when it's raining, also that means the other aspect of these apps that I find annoying, surge pricing. So now you
a
have
place that was 200 is 700. And you're like,
for a moment you have to become a professor in maths, so to figure out all this. So actually that's the other bit why I'd prefer a certain app over another. I don't want to be able to think about surge pricing. Because the idea behind surge pricing is there's an increase in price in this area, and the drivers are able to see this from their end. So apparently it will attract them to come to a place where there are very few cabs. So it's meant to create demand, but it works against for those few moments where it's creating demand. How many people get messed up? You know, going to JKI and paying 6,000 shillings is crazy. Because there was a surge. Doesn't make sense.
And you can imagine if it happens at a time when you have no option.
Exactly. There are those moments when you really need to step out.
Interesting. Okay, we can't end this conversation right now. So maybe we should also fix another day to discuss the same thing.
But you can continue it on social media immediately after.
So thanks guys for watching. Subscribe. Follow us everywhere. We're on Twitter, on Facebook. Follow our different blogs.
He's on Snapchat.
He's also
So Dickson blogs at techish.
Techish.com.
There's a hyphen somewhere.
There's a hyphen between tech and ish.
So it's tech.
I didn't copy blackish because they came after me.
Okay, whatever.
Good to know. With AndroidKenya.com.
Yes.
AndroidKenya.com at Android Kenyan.
Is it Android Kenya or Kenyan?
At Kenya.
No, it's Android Kenyan.
There's both.
On Twitter.
There's two accounts.
And Kaluka blogs at Tech Arena. Techarena.co.ke, right? And I blog at techtrends.co.ke. So thanks for watching. Our video guy, David. Yes.
David.
At eLabs, right?
There's a hyphen. Labs. Labs
is a Z.info.
Making life complicated.
But thanks guys for watching. Just follow, subscribe. We have more videos coming up in the coming week. More episodes, more discuss. Also suggest topics you want us to discuss about. Anything interesting.
Snapchat.
You want us to talk about. Just suggest, give us comments, feedback. Much appreciated. Thanks for watching.
Libido on the beat.